whenever you put money into a 401k account, it goes in on a pre-tax basis, typically, unless you get to choose a Roth type of account, then it goes in after tax. So when you move money out of a 401k, which is an employer-sponsored plan, and you move it into an individual retirement account, that's an IRA, and it's pre-tax money, you've got two choices. You can move it into a rollover IRA or just a traditional IRA. And what is the difference and what are the benefits? Well, if you move it into a rollover IRA, it kind of earmarks it as money that came out of a 401k, so that if you go to work for another company that offers you a 401k, you can roll that money back into their plan. I personally don't think there's a lot of great benefits in doing it that way, because when you are in an employer-sponsored plan, you are held captive to whatever their menu of options are for you to invest in. So they get to pick what is offered inside the plan, and you have to choose from that list what you can, what you're going to invest in. Most of the time, I would say more than 9 times out of 10, the options that they choose are not biblically responsible, simply because they are not screened. It's very difficult to do biblically responsible investing if you're using only mutual funds, because the majority of them are not screened. You have companies like the Timothy Plan, who is the pioneer in biblically responsible investing, very committed to biblically responsible investing, and they screen out all of the companies that are going into their mutual funds. They don't allow investment in companies who are promoting abortion, pornography, the LGBTQ agenda, human rights violations, gambling, and those kind of things. But almost all other mutual funds, if they're not specifically trying to keep those companies out, by default, they will contain shares of some companies that are not BRI. There's just not a way around it if you're not screening for it. So, you could leave it in a rollover IRA just in case you ever want to have the option to do that. I personally, because I'm so convicted about biblically responsible investing, would not ever want to go back into being captive to whatever the options are that the employer has for me. So if you move it to a Roth IRA, there's going to be some implications there that may be an option for you. At this point, it would be called a conversion to a Roth IRA. So the difference is that pre-tax money is what is found in a traditional IRA. So all of that, none of that money inside there, neither the money that you put in, because you got a tax break when you put it in, nor the money that it's grown to, your earnings, have ever been taxed. So you're not getting out of the taxes there at all. You're just deferring or postponing those taxes to some point in the future when you take the money out. Now, I happen to think that taxes are going to be higher in the future than what they are today. So when your money is growing inside a traditional pre-tax, tax-deferred IRA, you're not only growing money for yourself, but you're growing your future tax liability. So depending on what tax bracket you're in, it may make sense for you to do a conversion of some or all of that money to a Roth. If you're in the 12% tax bracket today, I would submit to you that it probably makes a lot of sense to consider a Roth conversion. If you're in the 22% tax bracket, it probably makes good sense to consider it. I mean, what you have to think about is, am I ever going to have the opportunity to get this money out at a lower bracket? Because what happens when you move it to a Roth, the Roth gets tax-free growth. So after you've paid the taxes on it, it converts to a Roth. You've taken care of your tax liability, and then from here on out, especially if you're young, it didn't say, I was thinking maybe he was 30, but it doesn't say, you have a huge opportunity to grow that money in a tax-free way. So it's a great thing to consider, but you're going to have to take into account what tax bracket you're currently in now and how to manage that in an efficient way. You probably should do it over time if it's a large amount.